We are joined by the President and CEO of Aztec Minerals. This is Simon Dyakowski. Simon, how are you doing today?
Hey, Rob, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the show today.
Yeah, so you guys have, just a really interesting project. I'm just going to kind of throw it to you.
Yeah, so Aztec is focused actually on two projects. We have two emerging discoveries, we call them. One of them is in southeastern Arizona. That is the historic Tombstone Silver District, where we have done extensive drilling over the past couple of years and are gearing up to re-enter the district and now drill diamond core over the coming months. And our second project is in Sonora, Mexico. This one is called the Cervantes. This is the gold, copper, porphyry district that we've been working on over the last 12 months. We made a very significant discovery at Cervantes back in Q1 of 2022 and actually attracted a strategic investment from 𝘊𝙁𝙁𝙁𝙁. 𝘊𝙁𝙁𝙁𝙁 happens to be one of the nearby heap leach gold producers in the region. So it's been a busy couple of years for us, and we're an exploration company. However, we're now past the discovery point and are focused on growing the discoveries that we've made.
You're in the Sonora area of Mexico. It's a historically significant area, but why in particular these two projects?
So we are focused on working on projects in safe political jurisdictions. So we view Arizona as one of the safest jurisdictions in the United States for exploration and potentially developing a mine. And the same with Sonora, Mexico. Sonora has some prolific gold production. It's a very well-established mining region. There's about 5 heap leach gold mines just on the highway that we take to get to our property. Geologically, these are tend to be very rich gold and silver bearing regions. So, for example, at Tombstone, we have a historic silver district where many have seen the Tombstone movie, but the reason that the town and the gunfight happened in Tombstone was because of the silver mine. So we now actually control the bulk of those historic patents, where most of that historical high-grade silver production came from, right south of the town of Tombstone. Very exciting area to be working in. We're also 40 miles away from a very famous discovery called 𝘬𝙁𝘾𝙊𝙁. The 𝘬𝙁 discovery made by Arizona Mining back in 2015. And this was found underneath the next nearest past producing silver district to Tombstone, known as Hermosa. And some investors will remember this thing exploded overnight. It went from 25 cents to like $6 a share and was bought out for $2 billion back in 2018. So we're very close to that, and we have a target that we think is actually quite similar.
So tell us a little bit about Cervantes. I'm interested in this one. I go to Mexico quite a bit.
So we're in the heart of what's known as the Laramide Porphyry Belt, but zooming into eastern Sonora, we're in a belt of prolific, what are known as heap leach gold mines. So these mines are, they tend to be lower grade, but very large tonnage, and they tend to be built on relatively small CapEx budgets. So for a fraction of the cost of building a giant underground mine with a mill elsewhere in the world, you can build a heap leach mine, and provided that the metallurgy and the strip ratio is favorable, these tend to be some of the lowest cost gold mines in the world, despite their relatively lower grade and larger tonnage. So we are right onto a discovery that is in that mold. We have drilled off a gold oxide cap of what looks to be a fairly significant tonnage. And with that, we've attracted the interest of a larger company, which operates a big heap leach gold mine just about 40 kilometers to the east of us. That's Alamos Gold, and they now own about 10% of our shares. So we're getting the attention of the right potential partners.
Talk to us a little bit about the significance of these results.
So let me put these results into context. The average grade of a typical heap leach in Nevada or Arizona would be in the range of 0.4 to 0.6 grams per ton gold. So on average, we're exceeding that on our best drill holes. You can see the highlight there, 137 meters at 1.5 grams gold. So this is very encouraging for potentially open pit mining. And really, we're not talking about digging a pit, but removing a ridgetop that has gold mineralization in it. So very exciting for the potential economics of a heap leach operation.
What are next steps for you guys? What's your next step with these two projects? What should investors expect the next 3 to 6 months from you guys from a news flow perspective?
So we're getting very busy on both of the projects, whereas in the past we'd focused one at a time. We're now going to go full tilt on both of them concurrently. We just announced that we've started a 1,300 sample program at the California target at Cervantes in Mexico. That's going to run until the end of March. And then in mid-April, we're going to go and do a follow-up round of drilling, another 4,000 meters or so, which will give us 15,000 meters of drilling to date on the project, and hopefully enough information to come out with an initial resource estimate telling us how much gold we've potentially discovered there. And concurrently in Tombstone, we are planning to drill 2,500 meters, about 12 diamond core holes. This is to follow up on the discoveries that we drilled back in 2021, where we already have 44 reverse circulation holes. So we're going to be expanding on what we've already discovered in Tombstone and targeting some deeper, potentially higher grades of silver and gold at depth. So that's all happening February, March, April, May of 2023.
We're going to put that up on screen. Talk about some of the people that are your notable shareholders and how did they come about?
Absolutely. So we're sitting at a market capitalization of around 26, 27 million dollars Canadian. So still a very, very low valuation for a company that has two projects that are entering the more advanced stages of exploration. We're reasonably well capitalized. Our last quarter, we had just over $2.5 million in working capital. And we have attracted now some fairly large and sophisticated investors, most notably being Alamos Gold. They came in and got involved in the company on a private placement financing back in May of 2022. So not even a year ago, and they paid 30 cents a share, which is about where we're trading now. They put $2.5 million of hard cash into the company, and they became our largest shareholder. And then rounding out that list over the last 12 months, we've started to gain the attention of companies such as 𝘙𝑚𝑘𝑠 Capital and EMA, who are institutional investors focused on gold. They're both based in the United States. So bigger investors are starting to come into this story as we continue to drill more holes and prove out how much bigger we think both these projects are going to get.
And what's the ultimate goal here, Simon? Is it to go build a bunch of mines? Are you guys going to be, options for maybe a major to tap you on the shoulder, or where do you think you could go here?
Well, right now we're focused on drilling and finding more. I mean, we're in discovery mode, and I think that's the best way that our shareholders could make money going forward is for us to be lucky enough to find more, and then again to advance to a resource estimate and then to further economic study. And of course, if larger companies start to take notice, that the business cycle in junior mining is discovery, study, and then typically acquisition. That is the model. The larger companies have expertise in running mines, but the junior companies have expertise in making the discoveries. And when there's a successful discovery made, typically the maximum leverage to upside is when there's an M&A transaction. So we're still focused on discovery, study, quantification, but anything can happen along that path. And I think we're off to a great start with already having big investors take notice, including one large mining company.
Great. So where can people find you? You guys on the Canadian Stock Exchange, Toronto, in the US? How do people, if they're interested in investing, where do they go?
Sure. Yeah, we're listed on the TSX-V, symbol AZT, and we're also listed on the OTCQB, symbol AZZTF, and we have a lot of US investors, and there's reasonably good liquidity on both exchanges. So really, North American investors can take their pick.
I love this one just because, well, you're in a really good spot in Mexico that I happen to know pretty well and seen some mines in that area. But I really love that you guys are in the US as well. So, and that's cool. And the best thing about it from my perspective is you're not a single project company. One thing I always tell investors is the more projects you get, the better that the market is going to look at that stock. And in fact, once you start getting to 2 projects, Simon, and beyond that, you kind of get re-rated a little bit from these single project discovery companies. So congratulations on having those 2 projects. And like I said, we'll have you back on.